everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Sunday. I hope the day is going well wherever you're watching or listening to this around the world. It is a massive day, of course, huge. Arsenal versus Manchester City coming up in just a few hours' time at the Emirates. The sun is shining this morning. It's a lovely morning. I'll be heading up to the Emirates very, very soon. I cannot wait. Can't wait for this one. Last season was a lot of fun. Something tells me today might be a little bit different. I can't imagine we're going to be leaving the stadium after a 5-1 win, but you never know. Stranger things have happened in football, and to be honest, I don't care what the score is. If you offer me 1-0 today, I will snap your hand off for it. Thank you very much. 3 points. We move, especially after yesterday, Liverpool winning. Again, beating Everton in the Merseyside derby. Of course they did, because they always beat Everton in the Merseyside derby. Imagine having a derby that for the last 25 years has been that one-sided. It'd be very, very nice, wouldn't it? I suppose we did have that for a fair while with Tottenham, to be fair, during the glory days of under Arsene Wenger. It was a long, long time since they beat us. But yeah, 3 more points for Liverpool, 5 wins from 5. They've got a 6-point gap at the top of the Premier League at the moment from Arsenal, so 3 points, very, very important today to close that gap and to inflict another defeat on Manchester City, a City side who are arriving in good form in terms of the last couple of games, played pretty well in the derby, beating United, and then winning well in the Champions League in midweek as well. Pep, I think you could tell in his interviews afterwards, he feels like something's beginning to happen again with Manchester City in terms of the form they're showing. Phil Foden is back towards something like his best, linking up well with Erling Haaland. So they're going to be in a pretty confident mood. Arsenal going to have to play well. Absolutely going to have to play well. So we're going to talk about that in today's show. We'll do the predicted 11s, all those sort of things. Martin Odegaard's given a bit of an update as he's trying to battle back and be fit for today's game. He wrote in the matchday programme, Arsenal have released a little bit of what he had to say about his shoulder injury. We'll look at that. So lots to get covered. I wanted to start today, though, talking about something that's happening sort of before and during the game, which is a really, really important thing, something very close to my heart as well. And it's as part of Arsenal's work with the Premier League on the Together Against Suicide campaign. Arsenal are offering a specialised suicide prevention drop-in service today at the game. So for a couple of hours before the game, during the game, for a couple of hours after the game, the service, which is available, which is totally confidential, it's going to be open at the Arsenal Hub. You don't need an appointment or anything like that. You don't need to ask. You just can walk in. So if you need to talk, if you feel like you need to talk, if you want some help, you want some guidance, anything like that, whether it's about you, someone close to you, a friend, family member that you're worried about, take advantage of this service that is being offered as Arsenal. It's going to give you an opportunity to speak to an NHS mental health specialist, and the aim is to have this at every Premier League game this season. And as someone who has been sort of touched firsthand by the horrendous impact that suicide can have on family and people close to you, totally unexpected, and the impact not just it has at the time, but it has for years to come afterwards. I think this is a fantastic service that Arsenal are offering in sort of partnership with the Premier League. And I would just urge you, if you do feel, if things are getting on you and you feel like there's no one to talk to, and this could help. Talking does help. I know it's cliche and all that, but it really, really does. And if you can take advantage of this service, then please do. So the Arsenal Hub is going to be open, like I said, 2 hours before the game, during the game and after the game, with specialist NHS staff there to talk to you. The Hub is down near, just basically right outside the Emirates. It's on the sort of right of the stairs, on the Armoury side of the Emirates, before you sort of walk up the stairs to get to the Thierry Henry statue. The Hub is there on the sort of right-hand side. So 56 Benwell Road, the address is, the exact address if you need it. But yeah, please do urge you to take advantage of this service. It's a really good service that is on offer. You can find more details on arsenal.com. I put a bit out on my social media about it yesterday as well. Okay, so on to the game now. And obviously, as I said at the start, it's a huge game. Absolutely no doubt about it. I suppose all the talk has been about the centre-backs. What's going to happen today? What is Mikel going to do? Is he going to stick with Christian Mosquera, who's been so good, faultless pretty much, since he came into the Arsenal side? Certainly since he sort of stepped into the role after William Saliba's injury in the game at Liverpool before the international break. Brilliant again in midweek. So does Mikel stick with him, or does he go with Saliba, who hasn't played since that game at Liverpool but has been fit for a week, has been training for a week, and pair him alongside Gabriel in his huge game against City, obviously against Erling Haaland? That's been the big talking point, Saliba or Mosquera. But I think Gabriel is just as big a talking point, especially for this game. I genuinely don't think there's been a defender. I mean, maybe Van Dijk, who has played at Gabriel's level since the start of last season, anywhere in world football. I think he's that good. He is on that sort of pedestal, the very, very best now, I think, Gabriel, in everything that he does. Leadership, in the air, on the ball now. And that was a part of his game that, when he first arrived at Arsenal, for a while, for maybe a couple of seasons, really, we sort of looked at it and think, good defender, really good, aggressive, all that sort of stuff, but prone to a bit of an error. The rashness was always there. He could do something and it could cost Arsenal a goal. There was always that thing in the back of your mind. He's been ironed out of his game and he's just turned into this all-rounder, excellent at everything he does. And, Saliba will admit it. When you talk to Saliba, he'll say, look, Gabriel's been better than me for the last season and a half. No doubt about it. And he's right. Gabriel was my player of the season last season. I thought it was, I really thought he should have won that award. And this is a game that he relishes, that battle with Erling Haaland. Absolutely loves it, relishes it. Mikel's been speaking about it before the game. I asked, why Gabriel loves this game and seems to do so well against Haaland. And he said it's his qualities. One of them is that he can get to anybody in the world. He's someone that really enjoys the defensive part, the contact, the physicality. When the game has to get to that part, he enjoys it. That's a big quality to have, and it's very needed with someone like Haaland, who is so physical. You need to have those qualities to be efficient. I think it's efficiency, the word that you want to use with defenders in relation to the quality of your opponent, how you're going to adapt your qualities to resolve a lot of situations. If you don't have any contact and it's not needed, even better. But Gabby has both, and he does. That's the thing. When I talk about him being this all-rounder, it's every part of the game that Gabriel has now is fantastic. And he loves this game. He doesn't always get the better of Haaland, of course, because Haaland's one of the best in the world. Like last season, he had Haaland in his pocket for 90 minutes, or 89 minutes and 30 seconds. But the one time he didn't, he scored. I think he actually drifted off Saliba for that goal, Haaland, the header in the 5-1. But, the pair of them, the one time they sort of switch off, and, Haaland's always going to make one run in a game that he's going to get found. That's just inevitable because of the type of striker that he is. But on the whole, Gabriel has been so solid against him, and he loves his partnership. And he loves this game. But this is why I would be going for Saliba, I think, and I would be bringing him back in for this game. And it might be a little bit harsh on Mascara. I know not everyone will agree, but I just think for this game against Haaland, with the understanding those two have against him, I'd be bringing Saliba in. And it's not like, I know he's not played for a while, but he's been training for a week, so it's not like he's just been rushed back in at all. He would have got up to speed. He would have got up his fitness up during the training. So I'd be going for him. But yeah, Gabriel, I think absolutely deserves to be spoken about when it comes to just overall quality, because I just think he's so good. Right, going to sort of move on to in terms of what we could do team selection wise today. Actually, before I do that, I'll just bring up, this is what Martin Odegaard had to say in his programme notes ahead of today's game. So Arsenal have published these ahead of the programme being printed at the afternoon game. He said, first, a quick update on my fitness. My shoulder was very sore, but I've just been taking it day by day this week, working hard to hopefully be ready for today's game. It's the same shoulder I hurt in the Leeds match, pretty much the same injury again, so it's just bad luck. The first injury healed really well. I was over it, but then the same thing happened again. It's never happened to me in 11 years, but then it happens twice in 2 weeks. So it's a strange one, very unfortunate. The challenge was fine. I think the three of us went for the same ball, but I felt something connect with my foot, which kind of flipped me forward, and I couldn't do anything about how I landed. It was really tough to come off because I was excited to be playing again, feeling good after the internationals, and really wanting to be out there after coming off in the Leeds game. So we'll wait and see if he or Bukayo Saka is fit. I know Arsenal have been working hard to at least try and have one of them available for this game. We'll see if it's paid off or not in just a few hours' time. I would suggest if say Saka's fit, I'd imagine Saka will be on the bench. I think if Odegaard's fit, I think Odegaard starts because, he was only starting a week ago. Saka has been a long time since he's been out. So I'd be surprised if he goes straight into the starting 11, especially with the form of Madueke, of course. You just don't really need to rush Saka. But I think if Odegaard's fit, I think that's a given. He would go straight into the starting 11. So a couple of you have been getting in touch with what you would do. Hagar has got in touch on the Discord, says, hey Charles, what is your predicted 11? I'll go over that in a second. You say, I think Arteta might go for positional discipline against Pep, which might mean Eze and Nwaneri miss out. So Hagar is predicting Raya, Calafiori, Gabby, Saliba, Timber, Rice, Zubimendi, Marino, Martinelli, Gyökeres and Madueke. Rizwan says, looks like Dowman started for the under-21s on Saturday. Guessing that means he won't be in the squad for City. Kind of surprising to me considering all the injuries right now and the inclusion of him in the first team photo. I'm sure it's just a matter of getting him consistent game time minutes, but who takes his place in the squad? Perhaps an indication that Saka or Odegaard might be fit. I admit, when I saw he was playing for the under-21s yesterday, Dowman, my first thought was, oh, someone's fit. Someone who wasn't on the bench last week is going to be on the bench today. If Dowman's not on it, then there's a space there. And so I immediately thought, oh, either Odegaard or Saka's fit. But the more I think about it, I don't think it necessarily means that. I think it might, but it could just mean that Christian Norgard comes in, because Norgard wasn't on the bench last week in the game against Forest, and he's fit and has been training, was obviously on the bench in midweek in the Champions League. So it could just be Norgard, who Arsenal do need to start getting in the squad from time to time just to keep him remotely feeling like he's involved. So it might well be Saka or Odegaard, but it could well be Christian Norgard. Anyway, but on Dowman, record-breaking performance. Again, another record for Max Dowman yesterday. His first start, I think that was for the under-21s, but he scored in a 3-2 win, comeback win against Wolves. Arsenal were 2-0 down. Harriman and Else got a couple of goals in, and Dowman got the equaliser. Brilliant goal by Max as well. Classic, played out to him on the right-hand side. Jinked inside a couple of men, sat the keeper down and rolled it in. And that goal means he's the youngest ever player to score for Arsenal under-21s. Unbelievable. The records just keep tumbling, and they will continue to tumble as well. I imagine he's going to set a lot more of those records between now and the end of the season. And I do think, like you said, Rizwan, it's about getting him minutes. Although he's part of this squad, and he clearly is, he was in the first team photo, he's not going to play every single game. He's not going to come on in every single game. So you want to keep getting minutes to make sure he's still progressing and developing, because at his age, he absolutely needs it. So I think it's no more than that. And I think it's a very sensible decision. So in terms of my predicted 11, what I think Mikel's going to do today, I've gone Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Merino, Rice, Madueke, Gyökeres and Eze. So that, I think, is the same team that started in midweek in the Champions League, apart from Saliba for Mascara. I just feel like he's going to bring Saliba back. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. I won't be bothered if he doesn't, and I'll be quite happy to turn up and see Mascara there. But I do think Saliba would probably be the right call, and I think that's what he will do. And then I was umming and ahhing about Eze or Martinelli on the left-hand side. I've gone with Eze, and yeah, again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Martinelli after what he did in midweek. And Mikel spoke at his press conference about harnessing the power of that performance and the sort of emotional state that Martinelli's in. But I think he'll probably still go with Eze. I think that is probably the 11 that I would go for as well, apart from I would play, if Odegaard's fit, I'd definitely play Odegaard. So I'd have Zubimendi, Odegaard and Rice. But if Odegaard's not fit, I think I would prefer to go Zubimendi, Nwaneri and Rice. I can understand him going with the other three. I just don't really like that midfield together. I've not really seen a sign that it really works that well. Yeah, I think a lot of you will agree as well. And I just feel like Arsenal, they just need a little bit more creativity in that midfield when those three play together. And I think the fact they're at home, I'd just like to see Ethan play that. I don't think he'll do it though. I think if Odegaard's out, I think it will be Zubimendi, Merino and Rice. And that's it from me today, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. If you're going to the game today, go there, be loud, make it hostile. It was really great atmosphere last season against that lot. It was so much fun. The second half especially was brilliant. I think we all left that stadium having really, really enjoyed ourselves. Let's hope we can feel like that again. But even not, I imagine this is going to be a much tighter game. It's going to be intense. It's got to make it hostile. Got to make it loud. So can't wait for this one, everyone. If you see me, come up and say hello. I'll be around before the game, during it as well, obviously. And so, yeah, enjoy the game if you're going. If you're not going, if you're watching it anywhere else around the world, enjoy it. Fingers crossed. Come on the Arsenal. Come on the Gunners. Speak to you soon, everyone. Bye-bye.